Let's get to the big news.
Let's do
Lee
it.
Smith, after 29 years, 3 state championships, 12 state tournaments, out at Eden Prairie
News
at
surfaced.
the end of the season.
Yeah, news surfaced late Friday afternoon that the coach was going to retire.
Retire.
And that's what came out. We tweeted that out at about 5:45 on Friday afternoon.
Yep.
And there's a lot of interesting facts that lead to this story today that I don't think a lot of people know. All people know is what they saw in the tweet. Maybe there's been some whispers around the rink, but I think the story it's a long story. Danny, you look like you're going to jump in here really quick.
No,
roll on this thing.
I think a lot of people thought that it was voluntary.
Yes.
Too.
Well, we're going to get to that. So that's what it appears. On the Twitter feed, it appears Lee Smith's ready to hang it up. He's done. And that's not really the case. Lee wants to continue to coach. And here are some of the details that lead into where we are on Sunday morning. First of all, anytime you're successful like Eden Prairie has been over the last 20 years, there's going to be, we're going to call these guys the Wolves. There's wolves at the door who don't like what Lee is doing, whether it's coaching style or players coming in from other organizations.
Don't like the ones.
They don't like the amount that the top line plays. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We call these people the Wolves because they're not happy with the results or whether the playing time or
every program
has the program.
Yeah, every program has wolves.
Really?
Everyone. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Including yours, Carl.
I didn't know
that's the most recent wolf packing, right? So now the wolves are always at the door. They're always at the door. They're ready to pounce. So this has been happening, but the wolves are always kept at bay, at arm's length, by old athletic director Mike Grant. That he was athletic director for years. He's been gone for 2 years. There's a new athletic director who's been here for 2 seasons, right? Facts.
Facts. Right. And Mike Grant was, like you said, there for a long time. He's the head football coach. He's Bud Grant's son. Mike is one of the kindest people in Eden Prairie, really one of the staples of Eden Prairie High School.
Sports. Yeah, absolutely.
And no one was going to mess with him.
No.
No
one's messing with Lee. So he's kind of protected, right? If I was using mob terms, he was a made man.
Yeah.
Lee was made.
He was tenured.
So this happens. They win their 3rd state championship last year. Fast forward to this season. It's going to be a rebuilding year. And the season's going great. I think for their expectations, they're cresting up, not down.
They have a good chance to make it to state.
Very good. They're number 1 seed in their
reliably
section.
Number 14.
Very reliably number 14. So 3 weeks ago, how did I term this? I want to make sure I get this right. 3 weeks ago, there was some player misconduct in the locker room. Player misconduct that would not get a coach fired. It would get a coach possibly suspended and players suspended.
For sure get players suspended.
Players suspended. Yes, we will get to that. Players suspended, type of misconduct, and possibly kicked off the team.
Yeah, Possibly.
Players served a 2-week suspension because Lee was the head coach of this team, and there was a lot of wolves at the door. I think the AD had to suspend him too. So if you look closely, if you were at those games, Lee did not coach for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Sticking with the facts. Suspensions play out. Players are back. Lee is back this week. Something happened between the suspension serving and Friday. I don't know what that is. That's still a mystery to a lot of people out there. Something happened, and it could have been the Wolves kept pounding harder.
Yeah.
They weren't satisfied with the 2 weeks. Or the Star Tribune, their word of the Star Tribune of knocking at the door. So there's a lot there. But Lee was offered an ultimatum this week, and it was step down immediately or step down at the end of the year. If you watch social media, the players are playing to save coach's job. It's all over social media right now. If you go look at all the players, now parents are responding via social media. The parents that aren't the Wolves are very upset. They want to pull their kids and the whole deal. But somehow they seemed fairly galvanized last night. They beat E9 again for the second time.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and for what we know, like the player misconduct, cannot state this enough, is player misconduct.
Wasn't coach misconduct at
It's
all.
not
It was
coach
just they were players under his watch.
Yeah, it's nothing that has not happened before or since in a locker room, probably.
No. And it's funny because some of the Wolves, in this case, they've been a part of this either as players or coaches and all this stuff. And now they seem to be, coming after him.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of hypocrisy here that doesn't seem to get called out in social media.
And, cards on the table, we all know Lee here. And
there's no secret.
And I enjoy Lee, his company, because they're some of the most open coaching staffs in the state, and so really they are great to be around because they will tell it like it is, and that is nice for us as reporters on this.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. And we don't have to, as reporters, we don't have to be best friends with them. Kurt Giles and I have had a great relationship for 4 years in Hockey for Life. I probably have 8 sentences spoken with Kurt Giles, right? I have
you in for this year.
I have 8 years of information with Lee Smith. It's just there's some staffs more open. We hang out. It's very, very good relationship, and others just there's nothing. But it doesn't mean that our relationships aren't strong with all these coaches.
Yes.
But my point is we're still reporting the facts here. I'm not getting an opinion. The facts are 3 state championships, 3 runner-ups, 12 tourney appearances. He's got a ton of street cred out there as a great coach.
Well, let's talk about the other things, too. Let's talk about the other do you want to talk about the other schools?
What do you mean other schools?
Chan.
No, we're not going to talk about that.
No.
I'm not bringing that up.
Okay.
It's not that important to this story.
Okay.
No.
However, I would say that this is you go back to our most listened to podcast ever was Carl and I 20 minutes after Duluth East. Today will have the same impact. It's sad but true. But we're getting it out there. This coach did not retire on his own volition. End of story.
No one should think that.
And he is one of the most tenured coaches left. You have Lechner,
Well, he had Kuchar.
Pauly. Yeah.
He and Cooch were dead even.
Yeah.
So Cooch was at 28 and he was 29. So they're
all at one school.
Yeah.
And so, it's
an impressive coach. Say what you want. I had someone say, Lee isn't exactly Scotty Bowman when it comes to X's and O's, but there's no coach who cares more about his players before they get there, while they're there, and after they leave.
Yeah.
And you see it in the talent he has gotten to stay. How many of those kids could have left early? So many.
Unbelievable.
I think he will go down as one of the best talent coaches of all time. With Kyle Rao, with Casey, with Nick Leddy, the list really goes on. And then I was really thinking, so he's won 3 state championships and was in another, 3?
3 and 3.
Finals in 29 years. So every 5 years that he was coach, he was in the finals.
Yep.
Well, the thing was, that was all in the last 13 years, too.
Yeah. It's been that successful.
But in the early 2000s, you could start to see it. That's what I'm saying. They were viable in 2002, 2003.
Yeah, the Greenway game.
Yep. So
I would argue they've been the best. For the past decade, they've been the best program.
If
apologies
not,
to Edina.
Edina.
Yeah.
And
they've challenged
a little more consistent. Yeah.
Yep. For sure. All right. Well, that's it. If you wanted to hear what really happened, you heard it here first.
And there's more stuff that's probably going to happen with this.
Yeah. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Because
it's just part of an ongoing saga that we've seen. It seemed to really blow up, obviously over the off season with Randolph and in Lakeville South and in Brainerd, and it's
and St. Thomas.
None of these people are perfect. I think we can point to each one of these coaches and say, here's something that they have done wrong, and not just in a blind match way wrong. You're in a place for 30 years, there's going to be dirt, but it's just an epidemic right now, and you just wonder something is broken down in the contract between coaches and parents, and schools, and
That's
something is broken.
That's a
I
good
love
way.
that word, Carl. You chose
Yeah.
the contract because there is no contract between the
It's
the
a lock
coaches.
social contract.
There is no
Yeah.
contract between them, and right now they want a contract between them, and they shouldn't get one. The parents don't deserve a contract.
Yeah,
Go sit in the bleachers and zip it.
I think it gets weirder with private schools with that contract idea because they think they're
'Cause
paying.
they paid for the
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll go on record right now. There were times when Jake, my son, was at Jefferson, and things were happening with Jeff Lindquist that I didn't like, and I thought, you know what? Shut your mouth, Tony. Let him deal with it, and let it play itself out. And it does. It always plays itself out the right way.
and there was a black cloud that followed that for a while.
Correct.
For those who aren't familiar with that community, too, there was wolves.
Talk about wolves.
There was wolves from the most famous alumni.
Yeah,
there.
Lindquist. My goodness, that guy had wolves
everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
2006 to 2018, that guy was.
He was a
It was like a wolf den over at
Into
Big.
the woods.
It was bad.
Yeah, there goes that bowl cut.